It's an intimidating character to play because he's very nuanced and he's very much in the gray. I still don't know him too well. I was always fighting with his identity as he is, and so I accepted that battle. But the script I fell in love with immediately because I knew it would be a challenge. But it felt so intentional about something that were sort of is taboo or very hard to talk about, especially when you're going to do it with nuance.
Gentlemen, how did this story come about? What was the inspiration? Let's start with you on this.
Well, personally, like, we had been trying to make a different movie, and I have to tie that to how this movie started, because it really crushed me how hard we failed on that other movie, but it gave me, like, I have to make something, and it made me think about what I was going to do differently to set up a movie where I felt like, come hell or high water, we could actually make it, which is really what you need. Creatively, we started writing in 2022, and there was an FBI report about the Uvalde shooter who was known by a lot of different people that he would message with, and there were all these reports. One that became especially famous, where he was messaging with this girl in Germany, and he was saying, he would send extreme messages to lots of people. Most of them wouldn't respond. When he said, "I just shot my grandma in the face," she responded, "Cool." And that idea, something about that, like, receiving those messages felt very connected to what it's like to be a kid growing up on these social media platforms.
It felt a little like I remembered growing up, not like when I was 16, I was advocating very much for Al Gore at the time, but it felt just like a choice. Like, I wanted to be involved in politics in some capacity, but nobody else around me in high school was even thinking about those things. And it felt to me like this girl out of nowhere getting a message about something so extreme and it happening felt in some ways like a microcosm. I'm not young, but it felt like maybe a microcosm for what it's like to be young and to be so inundated with the perils of the world, and that it's on your shoulders because the adults are failing miserably around you at all times. So that just became the kind of engine that drove the story at the beginning.
Yes, and who would get that message and actually do something about it, right?
I
That's how Balthazar was born.
Watching the film, I really thought of just, this is exactly what this generation is dealing with. Social press, social media, shootings in schools, and this movie is like, it's just so right on point. Asa, what did you think of the screenplay when you read it for the very first time?
I loved it. I felt it was, firstly for me as an actor, I'm looking for roles which are going to push me and I've not seen before and I've not read and I've not seen on screen. And Solomon felt like an incredible opportunity for me personally, but also to tell a story which felt so important, and to have like Oscar, who loved and believed and really wanted to make this movie. He had that drive, which is so important in your captain. I'm British, so I'm blissfully kind of removed from a lot of what happens in the US, but it still felt like a movie which had to be made. It had to be made with care, and these were the guys to do it.
Let's give it up for Jaeden, everybody. How about you? What was your first take on the screenplay? And also, I would say your first impression, if you will, of Balthazar.
He's quite an undertaking. That sounds terrible.
It is an undertaking.
But it is.
Okay,
It's a sort of it's an intimidating character to play because he's very nuanced and he's very much in the gray. I still don't know him too well, and I was always fighting with his identity as he is, and so I accepted that battle. But the script I fell in love with immediately because I knew it would be a challenge, like Ace is saying. But it felt so intentional about something that were sort of is taboo or very hard to talk about, especially when you're going to do it with nuance. And there's no better people to tell it than people who are outspoken but tasteful, and Oscar's first a producer and a logical man, and is going to make a movie to the best of his ability with great people around him, and it was surrounded from the jump with young, talented, hardworking people, the right people to tell a story. There's so many young people who made this movie happen, and that was really important.
I'm curious, Oscar, what made Asa and Jaeden the perfect Salman and Balthazar? Like, what were you looking for, and what made these actors like that we found our guys?
There's a combination. I mean, the whole cast. I feel so lucky for the cast that we put together, which in part is just getting lucky with New York actors who love to work, and if they're available, will show up and do incredible things for you. I think Jaeden came on first. With both of them, I'd seen their work, and I think I knew that. It's such a gift when you see an actor whose work that you know do something that completely surprises you. And I could tell from our first conversation with both of them that they were really excited about doing that too. And not just, and even using the sort of association that their audiences and their fans have with them, using that as something that we could even kind of subvert or play with to amplify and create these new characters. I think Jaeden in particular, I remember I've been like this little rich weirdo before. I don't want to do that, which was so great to have somebody who was asking those questions to make sure that we didn't go down that road again. And I remember Asa, immediately we both kind of connected because he knows that he is immediately likable, and he wanted to play with that, right? Because he knows that he can get away with more, and that we were both excited about that. I knew I found the right guy.
What was it like, Asa, to work with a writers and director who they're so open to collaboration, open to ideas from their cast, that the movie could pivot a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we had, I think, probably just a week of rehearsals before we started shooting, and there were so many moments in that week where we felt like we found new moments in every scene, laughs we didn't know were there, just really finding the best version of these of this story. And yeah, you come in to any film with your preconceptions and the way you've read a script, but until you're in a room with everyone else, the other actors, the writer and director, and you're all kind of gelling these versions of the story you have in your head, you have to start peeling things back, forgetting things, adding new things, reflecting what other people are suggesting, and it all kind of then clicks into place. And there are so many aha moments then, which is great.
What about, Jaeden, it must have been just such a relief to be able to work with filmmakers that were open to suggestions and ideas, especially since you're going to put so much trust in their hands.
Yeah, totally. And to talk about Asa for a second too, so much of my character is absorbing his environment, and there's no better partner to have. I walked in kind of not knowing that in a way, having, like you said, a plan, and then pretty much immediately having to adapt to react to this sort of outlandish person who's putting on a play for me, essentially trying to be the person that he thinks that I want him to be. And a lot of me is not knowing what I want and just taking it all in. But a lot of it was a pivot from the jump. And these guys are always adapting in a way that's sometimes a little bit frustrating, because you have one idea about the character and then it changes, but they're searching for something always, some deeper truth, digging, and that's something I really respect. And I came out, I think that's like the greatest gift you can give an actor is it instilled something in me that I always want to be ready to adapt and shift.
Yeah, and it's something I think it's, as actors, it can be easy to take the sort of safest route through a scene or the easiest route through a scene. And what these two are so good at is pushing us a little bit further, adding, suggesting just little things. And sometimes it didn't work, but it was so great to have the encouragement and freedom to take it further and push it past what you might initially even feel sort of comfortable doing. And then you kind of cross that line and you think, oh, great, we found something there. Or you cross that line and you think, okay, that is too far, which means where we have it here, that's the right place.
But you see, in your case, Asa, before I saw the film, I mean, I knew who was in it and I knew who wrote it, directed it. But if I didn't, I would not have known that was you. Like, I mean that in a good way. I mean, you really disappeared into the role. I mean, what was it like for you? What were the biggest challenges for you to really do that, to just, be so committed and to absolutely disappear in a performance like you've never done?
I think something I had struggled with in the past as an actor is there's sort of certain sort of areas of emotion which come more naturally to me and those which don't. And a lot of Solomon's sort of rage and his sort of mania are things which me, as Asa, I'm a very laid-back person. It takes quite a lot to kind of rile me up. And so I found in auditions I'd find those parts of me harder to pull out and harder to show. Yeah. And it's something I've been working on and trying to get better at. And Solomon has such a spectrum of joy and rage and sadness and frustration that it really allowed me and forced me to dig into those things, which which are sort of buried. They're in there, but they're buried a bit deeper. And that was a really interesting process. The other thing, which was really hard, was driving in Texas on the other side of the road. In a car doing stick, trying to stay like in frame of the van, which has a camera there, whilst remembering my lines and like giving them to Jaeden and trying to give a performance in the accent and all of that at the same time was like, fuck. And stay alive and not crash the car.
Right. But for you, Jaeden, what were the challenges, because he was talking about his, what were your unique challenges in playing Balthi?
Probably things I've already talked about right now. Just the being able to adapt and then just simply not ever having a grasp on the guy. But half of that is trusting your partners and trusting that you're adding something to the greater good, to the betterment of a film, even at the cost of your ego sometimes or immediate satisfaction.
Oscar, when you're deep into production, principal photography, what was it about these guys that surprised even you?
I just the chemistry that you can't really tap into until you're everybody's dressed and the hair is done and they're fully in character and they're on the set and you see them through the lens and I love actors. I believe in actors. They can do incredible things, and I know they're gonna surprise me. But the minute that I saw these two matching energies, it was like, ooh, this is really exciting. I could watch this for a while.
How did the sort of screenplay evolve even after you started filming?
Well, as Asa said, there was about a week and a half of rehearsal where we kind of just started feeling out what questions Asa and Jaeden had and sort of how they were cooperating with each other and what kind of chemistry was there. And, riffing is a silly word, but kind of like riffing with each other and coming up with new jokes and you find out where they want to go, where you want to go, where Oscar wants to go, and you just sort of we were just working together and figuring things out. The core of the movie always stayed the same. There were some rules that Oscar and I feel like established very early on in the writing process that really allowed us to kind of go to go to a lot of different new places while in production because we had established rules of things that we didn't want to do. So if you know that, you can find all these new things that you want to do in the moment because you know exactly what it is that you don't want the movie to be, I think, right?
Watching the film with this amazing crowd here for Film Independent tonight, I loved hearing, because, when I was watching the film for the first time, I was struck by the tone of the film. There's this sort of absurdist humor to it, but it's also something that's really, a conversation starter. It's something movie really going to make you think a lot. So how did you really find the right tone?
I mean, I think so much of that is about casting, right? Like when you're pitching your movie and you're trying to get people to invest in you and your film, and it's like, what's the tone like? And they're looking for a comp, and I always struggle with that because I feel like when I try to talk about the tone of some of my favorite movies, it's always about the actors, and it would be so different if you had different actors playing the Pacino part in Dog Day Afternoon. Like the tone would be different. So I feel like once these guys stepped in and we start workshopping it in rehearsals, and we're in Texas, and we're driving to set with, people that live in the same place where Solomon lives, like we start to see like what kind of range we can function in, and then you can't really imagine it any other way.
Near the beginning of the film, when Balthazar is filming himself, and he breaks down on camera, and then he's done recording, he just pushes stop, and he composes himself like in a second. That was amazing scene. I mean, like I just like a scene like that just made me go, holy shit, that this guy's great. What was it like to just even film just that scene? Do you remember?
I remember Jaeden being like, God, I thought we were going to do a lot more crying today.
Dude, really?
I remember that, yeah.
I remember chasing the light around, and then we didn't have that many takes on that one. I came in thinking that this was my fucking movie to do because I'm good at crying on command. Sometimes I can't get there emotionally, but I can do the thing. I can make the tears come out of my It's a gland thing. It's like, I've talked about this so many times, it's sort of embarrassing, but it is like peeing. It's the same sensation. But I still found myself sort of frustrated a lot of the time, not being able to get tears out. It's sort of disappointing a lot of the time. I don't know. I think
Is it like when you're at a urinal and you can't wee? Is it that sort of frustration?
it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. Thank you, Asa.
Have you ever accidentally peed a little while trying to make yourself cry for the camera?
Yeah, and I cry a lot when I'm peeing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Just expelling.
Don't we
all
all?
of that.
Solomon's he's got a lot of emotion, and sometimes in one scene. So how many takes would you sort of do when he was like in his home, or if he was just like, the scene was just on you, and you would see just the range of Solomon's emotions? Like, how many takes would you typically do, just in general, throughout the course of filming?
I feel like we just did as many takes as we needed, which was never a crazy amount. And it's an indie movie, so we don't have all day. And you got, but I never felt like we were always knew what we needed. And Oscar is great at knowing when he's got what he needs. God, I can't remember how.
And then Ricky is there to ask you for 3 more.
Yeah, he's like, okay, wait, but try this, but try
Whisper, yeah.
I just thought they were so great, so I would always be begging to get Oscar to do more stuff because I just wanted to watch them. They're just fun to watch.
What makes Oscar a great actor's director?
Room to think and
Trust.
yeah, trust and space. Really, he's really well spoken and everything, but he's I'd say pretty quiet person. He's always got an answer for you when you've got a question, but I think he gives you time to think. Sometimes he gives you time to talk yourself into a hole when you're having a but he just lets you breathe on your own time. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything Jaeden said, and I think what Oscar was saying, a belief in us as actors, taking it to where he needs, and the encouragement and the all of that is so valuable. And also, it's film sets are stressful, and Oscar was always so patient and so thoughtful and really looked after everyone, which you need in a director, and it goes a long way.
How many shooting days on this movie?
22.
Welcome
Ooh,
to
wow.
Independent
There's a
Movies,
reaction.
ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that is amazing. 22 days. How long was your first cut?
4 hours.
Like 148.
148.
The Camilleri cut, I want to see that one.
So, what we were talking about, like, making the movie and casting and everything, but first you got to, like, get to that point where, like, it's like action. What were the biggest challenges to get this movie made in the first place? See? I knew I asked a good question.
Can I start the answer?
Yeah, go.
We thought, so we were trying to make this other movie, as Oscar said, and it was a much bigger movie, and it was a dark comedy about a militia. Makes sense, right? And when it fell through, we came up with the idea for this movie, and we were like, we got it. This is so good. People are gonna want to make this. They're gonna read this, and they're gonna be like, here's the money, guys. This makes perfect sense for us. And it was not like that at all.
I remember Ricky texting me. He was like, "There's about to be a lot of school shooter movies coming out, like as if it was going to be the next big trend in Hollywood or something."
Well, we are being released on the same, not, spoiler alert. But yeah. But we just thought that like we were on top, not on top of something. But like that we were us having, I guess maybe we never articulated it this way, and I feel dumb saying it now. But like that we were just doing something that nobody had done yet about something in our culture that is so prevalent. And so why wouldn't anyone want to make that movie? Why wouldn't they feel like there's an audience for that? And we were very quickly, Oscar is one of the most diligent people I know, maybe the most, and he worked his ass off raising the money for this movie, and it was not easy.
As soon as people see school shooter in the log line, they're just, and these are I'm so thankful for people who did put money into the movie. Most of them are not the people that, the people that everybody knows in the industry who like putting money into independent films. We had a lot of first-time investors who believed in me and believed in the script, and I think because I was excited about it and the actors were excited about it, they were like, "Hey, that's good enough for me." It was really, really hard. But the more that especially the industry type people said no, my personality is like, hey, actually, I have to make this movie now because, like, I don't think I'm that original. I don't have like a sci-fi imagination, but I want it to be distinct. I want it to be different. And for me, it was like, well, if everyone's saying no to this, it's at least gonna be different, And that's what I look for when I go to the movies. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So the end of the film, and Balthazar is being interviewed, and it's like, is hero or villain? And it doesn't really answer the question. So I'm just curious, like when you're filming a scene like that, like, the actors always say, well, I'm not going to judge the person I'm playing. But like, did you think to yourself, like, is he a hero or a villain? Or did you like that it was just so ambiguous that it doesn't really answer the question?
Well, for most of the filming, I was really bummed the whole time that I was going to have to disappoint everyone. We were having such a good time, and the crew thought we were making a funny buddy movie. They swear, like, everybody was...
We shot the Texas stuff first.
We shot the Texas stuff first. And so the whole time I was really, I was dreading getting to that point where, and that was our last day, was shooting Ace in the Head. And that really it made me sad to think about that this guy was the villain, and that's where I had to be, and I knew I had to obviously that informs what I'm doing right now. But when it comes to that kind of last moment in this little conservative getup, he's sort of the most boyish he's ever been, and he's got his mom in his life actually, and he's got his life coach's attention, and he's texting a girl, and he's listening to music that reminds him of a friend, and that's him at his simplest, and he's kind of got the things that he wants, and I think that's the sweetest moment for the kid.
So rather than ask, oh, gee, watching the film, what do you hope people take away? I'd rather hear what people are taking away. What are some of the reactions you've got at screenings? Maybe something you read in a review or whatever. Like, what are some of the reactions that you're seeing from the film?
We can't say that in front of other people. I think we should talk about it right now. It's just like,
Does
talk about
anybody
what
have
you guys think.
a reaction? Because I'll
I
bring
mean,
the
some
mic-
girl.
Does anyone want to stand up and tell us how great they thought it was?
Or we can talk about the things people don't like. Her country.
I don't know. Some girl brought a like hand-drawn poster that was fan art to the movie theater the other night, and that was just like, this movie has real fans. That moves me. I'm so proud. People are making their own interpretations of it already.
Absolutely. Anybody have a comment that they would like to say about? Okay, wait, hang on. You stay. I'm going to bring the microphone over to you.
Are you gonna bring the microphone all around the theater, Scott? That's gonna be you're gonna be athletic.
Thank you for bringing such great entertainment. We loved it. I'm curious about, you mentioned tone earlier, and I'm curious because the first thing I said to my friend was how grounded it felt. I think the one funny part, like the tongue-in-cheek part about school shootings was the drill and how that was a comedic scene between the two classmates. And I'm wondering if the groundedness came from the script or if that came to life between the actors and the whole cast.
Great question. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the goal was always to really be there with the boys, right, and feel like you were right there with them, and let their performances really ground it. And in that case, I mean, maybe we could just say with the kids, right? And if there were satirical targets, they were always like the adults, the guy who's running that drill, right? And I think that, like, I don't think of it as a satire, the movie, because we put so much work into making these characters people that you'll go with, and you get to, they're nuanced and you can connect with them in different ways. Whereas with the adults, like we talked about Clockwork Orange when we were writing as an example of a movie where it's told from the perspective of the teenager or the young man, but like the adult performances are so they're almost like histrionic, right? They're really
6 5 5 3 4 2 1.
and that is an example of something that maybe on paper it looks like a tonal mismatch, but to watch is just the best. Does that answer your question? Kind of.
So, okay. So, yeah, did I answer your question? Okay. So two things to say. So first of all, like I said, the movie is in theaters tomorrow. So now that you've seen the movie, go on social media, spread the word, and because this is a movie that you want people to see in theaters with a crowd full of people. Second is please stay seated while our panel exits. That would really help us out. Want to thank Picture House for making tonight possible. Want to thank Film Independent for making this night possible. Go Film Independent. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks
Scott.
for coming.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks for coming, guys. Thank you.